Hello everybody, literally finished off last bit of silage at HQ and wanted to take a minute and just go out round the wagon that we've been using a little bit this year. I've always been very much a self-propelled kind of operator, but this is the first wagon that I've truly enjoyed driving and getting to know a little bit about it. It's a big wagon. It is the baby jumbo. It's the smallest in the 8000 jumbo range, and what Pottinger have really been wanting to push the message through with this wagon is that it is now capable of reaching shorter chop lengths, and shorter chop lengths are something that are starting to come back into fashion in a lot of places in Europe and even here in the UK. We're a lot more multi-cut systems, and you'll see in some of the footage that we have, indeed there's not a lot of bulk on some of what we're running around lifting, but that's because, you know, some of it was fourth cut, some of it was first cut, some third cut, and at third cut here at HQ we asked local contractor James Mackay to come with a big rake, 4-rotor rake, and rose up some big swords. So the big thing to talk about with the Jumbo 8400 is, I suppose, getting straight to the point. How's it chopping it this little bit shorter? Well, it's running 65 knives, I do believe, across the pack. We'll go out round and see here, and auto sharpener and all is fitted on this, so going to maybe start it on a bit of a sharpening cycle and then do a little bit of a chat around how I've set it up, one thing and another. She's on 845 26.5s Alliance tyres, and that's a great tyre. The wagon itself, very easy on the ground. I took the 350 down from 900 Michelin's and put her on 710 BKTs. That might have been a mistake, if I'm honest, but I felt the 900s were just leaving her very wide to manoeuvre, and I thought, get her down. I still have the 900s, but on this wagon that Pottinger have brought in and spec'd in here, she's on what I call an intelligent floating steering system. So it steers here, you can see the ram. It's steering with, as you turn it'll steer. It'll automatically lock up when you go into reverse, and you can adjust the speed and etc. So when you hit a certain speed on the field, it'll automatically adjust. I have it through the command pro at button number 12. One tap with the thumb and boom, she automatically locks. Lights all around, camera, we've got the access door in here. This 8000 series is on a, well, I suppose a lot of wagons are probably heading this way, but we're on a steel floor. And one of the main reasons for steel floor is that Pottinger are very well aware these trailers need to have more purpose than possibly just lifting grass. So there's a door at the front which will open straight down, so you know if you're finished grass you can put it to hauling maize. Wood chip is something that you know, you hear tell of them hauling a lot more, so they have to be used more as trailers, these particular wagons, I believe now, to basically get some more value out of it, because they're expensive bits of kit. Tail door sensor for when you're full load, so we have adjusted that a little bit all right in here. We've had to look at different sensors and adjust just to get it right. Have we got it 100% right? I don't know. One of the things I will say about the shorter chop length is you can't heat the big load up the way you used to, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute or two. I did alter so if you can remember, these have a moving headboard, and you can basically have it straight up like that, and it can start forward and come back as the load gets filled and get you more into the front, but it can also compress more. If you can literally do this with the tailboard, and when that gets up there and turns in, it's compressing more in. So the 8400, we're talking about compressing more in, I think is like a 42 or 43 cubic meter capacity. But if you factor in filling it with, say, a self-propelled or a harvester, or you factor in compressing and loading that way, I think you're going to get a good bit more in. Doctors differ, patients die, you can tell me. Control panel out here, I have the reel down and in play. I have the side panel opened up. It's a little bit messy, but we haven't it cleaned off yet. So this is our control panel. So with the tractor running and we've got our oil, we can literally drop the knives out of her. And you can see them coming out. They're sharpening stone heading down into place there. And we can give it the signal to get lit up, and we'll send that on our way. If we want to be a little bit more aggressive, give it a couple of wee pumps here. Oh, you can hear the difference now. She's giving it a sharpen now. And she'll probably need it after the last couple of days, because the truth of the matter is ground has started to get damp here and wet a little bit. And even you can see, look, over, maybe hard to see in the hill on the horizon, steeper than it looks. And I take my hat off to wagon drivers. You're actually fairly skilled operators who can go in and work ground, especially with hills, and not do any messing, because once you start to pull and your front wheel gives it a little pull, then your back wheel gives it a little pull, and then you have to be very careful. If you have that sod sitting up, you could very quickly be lifting dirt, so you have to be on it. But there she is, she'll work her way across. And the pickup, 7 rows of tines working in the pickup here. I must admit, at speed in light rows, we were having no issues cleaning the ground. We've ended up in this position here. We have been between these two, just for different types of ground. If I was in some real mossy ground, and I noticed I had to just lift it up a little bit. But 7 rows of pickup tines running flat out, and they've changed from most of the other wagons you see. These boys are metal. They've changed these to plastic, and we'll have the wheel crop press on now. What I can tell you is that's heavy. When you have to move for a lump, which I did catch a lump at the side, and it did break one of those plastic boys, but I broke it with a crowbar. You know that old saying, you can bend a crowbar in a moss, but I have the new one on and in place. So, and the wheels, you know, little things like the wheels automatically, once you go to put the reel down, the wheels automatically come out. She's running along nicely there. Great lights inside, internal. One thing I would do different now with this one, and I know it could be done, I would want a camera up there pointing down. I do find the factory fitted camera here is actually not that good, because it doesn't give you the sense of where this bit is, and I would feel awful if I was leaving it back with a big scrape or two up her. One of the key features for me about this wagon is here. It's this belt. Oh look, jumping back, there's what I broke, this one. But I did that trying to get a wee lump out of there, and I'm honest, I did it. It happened, it was me. Open up this wee side one here. Oh, give her up, yank. So, back to the business end. Went down like what I would call a similar sort of route to your like self-propels, running the power drive through a big belt. And what I feel the beauty about the big belt is it smooths it out. And Pottinger tell us that it is designed for a 500 horsepower driveline. 500 horsepower is a lot of horsepowers. We're putting out whatever we're putting out. She was down on at 360 or 350 or something like that, possibly a little bit more. And I can tell you, under pressure, that old girl was working. So she's coming off your belt, straight in through this shaft here, some lovely blue grease on it, and straight into running the rotor. Where are we at now? Sure, by the time you'd have her run round and done a wee bit of greasing, you'd have her nicely sharpened up with an edge on. And shaft is absolute animal of a thing to get pulled off and greased. Flip's sake, you nearly need a winch. And there you got her. We're running this in the K80 ball. We think it's a ball. If I had one criticism, and the criticism would be On the tractor side, I think that the pickup hitch is just running too low there for me. Like, you look at that, I just would like to see no sharp edges around that part at all. Certainly when you were getting up into the big bits of swords. Now I went up to my cousin. I went up to my cousin in Bushmills, and I've run it any other times I've been out this year minus a weight block. But when I come back here to HQ's grass and get on to some of the hills, I wasn't long hooking on the weight block just to try and get those mitches digging down in. Just, yeah, not convinced I did the right thing there. But I mean, you have to be able to manoeuvre these things about. The tractor sitting in 900s is very wide, and if you're doing a bit of road work, it's an awful expenditure to be running around. But I do think the 900 just biting that bit of fresh ground on the hill would be a good job. So how long, what do we do now? Park, so we hit the P button, we park her, put the auto sharpener away, bring the knives back up in there, and lift up the pickup rail, lift her up in the air. So you have a good bit of movement here that you can work on. So I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to jump up into the tractor, just show you the way I have some of the functions set up on the Command Pro. I'm not trying to, this is by no means anything to do with sales pitch for John Deere, because I am a John Deere man and that's fine. But I believe you need a big tractor for that type of a wagon. It is a heavy wagon. You know, there's weight, and I believe to master weight, you need weight. And you are putting really good big loads on if you need. This year has not been atypical here in Northern Ireland, but all in all, delighted with our experience. I mean, you see how handy it was to give it a quick sharpen and move on. The pickup rail, I mean, the footage will show you yourself. Like, we're sitting at speeds of 21, 22k on light stuff, but she's cleaning it well, and that's the key. Because whilst a lot of people may argue and say, oh, you're lifting nothing, if that's what the customer wants, that's what the customer wants. And when we get into 50-foot swords, long big pull up, a long big hill that we were pulling up across the lane there, still 12, 13k on heavy 50-foot third cut swords. And there's a lot of manipulating on how you work that headboard. If you see that headboard and how much weight you put in the drawbar, so it's just sitting fully back, ready to go. But if I jump in, I'm going to try and show you how I set the tractor up for me. And most big tractors now are running Isobus, and that's what I've chosen to do. So if not, there's a perfectly good screen to work with. So basically, with the Isobus in the cabinet of the 350, we have dual screens in here, so we're blessed with having the dual screens, screen 1, screen 2 there. So we can see the Isobus is in. We can adjust all our own transmission settings. That's really for us to work with. And in terms of control and functionality, this button references the Command Pro side of things, and this is the Command Pro attachment on all these tractors. And I'm moving this around. I know it's probably annoying everybody, and this is all the letters and numbers. Now I know this may confuse people, and that's absolutely okay. And this is your sensitivity of your drive. So this lets us see, if I can just get the camera to focus on it, the way in which I've opted for. So A, which is really the most used one, and remember this is A, so my thumb sits literally here. That is pick up rail up and down. So you can see the pickup going up and down, and if I lift it up, it goes up a wee bit. And it's also set that if I hold it in the up position of A, it will put the wagon up into transport mode, as so. And it'll also drop down, and once the pickup's running, it'll drop back down into lift mode. So if we flick on the PTO, we've got the PTO on now, we drop it down, the tines will start. You see the whole wagon has dropped down now into pickup mode. When you lift it up, the tines will stop. When you drop it down, the tines will start again. It's a good job, and if you hold it up, that's her way up into transport mode. B, as you can see here, it's figured for just lifting the whole thing up and down if there's something in and out, or you're at the silo and you want to lift it up or down a wee bit. C, which if I go back to the Command Pro, is right around the back here, this one here. That basically moves my floor forward or back. Quite simple that way. D, I have set for the top door. If I move it one way, it puts it back to its pre-authorized position if for some reason I have moved it. And D, the other way, that's automatic unload. Now your numbers, so number 10, which is this button as well, which sits nice to my hand. So if I'm coming out at the sward, especially when it's wet ground, if I hit number 10, you'll see here, full rev. That's her ready for the beans. And if we were under pressure and just was wanting a bit of grip, or on hills and stop and lifting, and I just wanted to kill that rev, just hit that button again. Number 11, which is this button. So we're finished the field. If I hit number 11, that was putting the wheel away. That tucks the wheels away then for transport. And when I come into the field and I go to put my pickup down, she will automatically, first thing she'll do, before she does anything, bring the wheels out round, into place, drop, and off we go. And number 12, which is actually, I didn't think I would use it much, but I found myself using it more and more than I realised, especially in round wet ground, was number 12, which is the one that sits lovely at my thumb here. So we're driving along, pick up, down, and number 12, steering axle. And what that actually does, you can see the green light here when we zoom in. The steering axle is on full automatic mode. So if I tap 12, it's in steer mode. I tap it again, you can see it's fully locked. And if I tap it now, she's in automatic mode, and she will work on that automatic side. So essentially now, our wagon's pretty much set up. You have your work settings, so we can do everything from the touchscreen as well. I can put my pickup up and down here. I can do the steering here. I can put the wheels away here. I can move the headboard. Everything can be done here. So that's what I mean. You can put it into a perfectly good screen, but I just choose to configure it onto the Command Pro. I like that. Some guys like to configure it onto the joystick, and more so in the newer 6Rs if it's a John Deere, because they've got forward and reverse there, or maybe other tractors that's got forward and reverse controls on the joystick they may, but I myself like this because that's what I'm using, I'm driving. I have 2 cruises set, one for a small rev for when I'm unloading, just to keep the pumps running, and then I have like a cruise. I haven't it set at the minute. I would have to go in and literally set the speed here, which I can do. This is an Achilles heel of John Deere. You have to tap, but anyway. And you can have like straight to road mode for cruise. You tap her over to the side and she's away into cruise. And here, these are our force. I think they're ways that the wagon measures force, and when it reads like for here, it goes green for like 2 seconds, then it automatically moves the floor. I have it literally just working on this one. You can have it on a combination of all 3. And this is where it does get slightly complicated now. You can go in and set all the angles for your front door, the position, the percentage of force. You can set start positions, pre-positions, but that comes with a little bit of experience and how you get it out. When it comes to tipping, you can either hit your button on your Command Pro, or you can hit it here, hold auto once, back door is automatically opening, as you can see. If I bring it up big in the camera, the chains will automatically start moving. They will move for a period of time in slow speed, because that's where a good lump of the grass is starting to fall off, and then it'll trigger into rabbit fast speed, and you can see them. That's her away. Now that again can all be changed when you're finished. You can come back to your screen or whatever you want to do it, just tap door down, and you can see here, and she's doing that automatically. And normally when you do that, as you'll see now, she will set the headboard to where I had it last set, and you can see where I had it last set. It's forward a bit, and I was trying to show the short grass concept, so I had it maybe tilted a little bit more than normal up in the air so that it could build the grass up, but you can very easily see how the grass was falling off. And if you're a Wagon user of other brands, and maybe other brands are there too, or a historic Pottinger Wagon user, you will understand you normally can build up this big load, and because it's really nice and long, it interlocks and locks with itself, and it keeps, you can build a big load up, whereas with this, I find you can't. You start to lose little bits of grass. But if I bring the door, so I'm using this button, I can control the door. I bring the door right back down here manually. If I hit my preset button, you can watch it automatically go to where it's been set, previously set. I can adjust. I was doing it more like that. I can save that setting, put that setting into it, and away we go. And it will return there every time after you tip your load. So really good job now to Pottinger. I think they've got this one pretty neat. You can see slight negative now, but you can see on the outside of that roller, I say I haven't washed it yet, just where she would pick up the tiny little bit of dirt, and you'd have to know to stop and not load that into it. But the intake is phenomenal, and I hope the footage does it justice. I mean, when you're sitting up here at 22, 23k, you know, that's 12 mile an hour, 12, 13, 14 mile an hour, picking up light fourth cup clean, you're doing something right. You'll see maybe here what I mean about, I was saying earlier about the camera, that I'm not sure if I'm about to hit something out here or not. Now, a lot of John Deere users will laugh at me for having that screen in here, because I've got dual John Deere screens here. I can not be miserable. I think it's here, is it? Do you buy a cable? This cable here, you can buy a cable and you can plug it in to your Command Pro, and you will get your vision through your screen. Oh, service. So we can see she keeps a, we'll not reset that. So she gives you an idea of greasing, when we're next due greasing points, when we're due oil. Oh, 1 hour, 1 hour she's needing. We're good for 42 more loads, and we can reset. So I like all of that. My PTO's running. If I drop my pickup, there's nothing running. And if I hit this button, I will engage the belt. There's the belt engaged, and she's took the drive line up. Very clever. Very clever. And to think that's the baby. Like, if you were in one of the big ones like triaxles, you would need genuinely a big tractor to pull that about, because this is a fairly decent lump of a thing, whether you like it or not, you know. But she can handle it. So remember, everybody, as well, it's okay to not be okay. I want to thank Pottinger for giving us this out a couple of times. I really hope we can drive home the message of the shorter chop length. if you're into that. I mean, at the end of the day, you could obviously pull knives out and not maybe have it as short. That'd be no problem. Of course, you have the 7000 series of Jumbo, which we had in the past. It's an identical looking wagon, and it just, you know, if you're not bothered about your chop length, a lot of wagon users want it, the longer the better, but there is that new trend, and we're talking 21, 23 mil or something like that there. And you know, most self-propelled choppers, yes, they can come right down to 4, 5, 6 mil for biogas, but most choppers are running, you know, probably in that mid-teens, you know, in terms of millimeters. So you can see a massive difference, and that's what anybody that got a load tipped in front of them said. It was a lot more solid than what was coming in, and a lot easier to buck rake. And most buck rake men don't like buck raking to wagons. Like, let's be honest about that. She runs like a mouse eating paper, and I have thoroughly enjoyed driving it. Just nice to get out and have a bit of fun. So, pop my wheels away, button number 11. So, I hope you've enjoyed the wee look round the wagon with me. Take care.